blunt.
Well, the disclosed location is at my desk in the Russell Building in Washington, and it would be better to be there on set with you and Kelly, but I am here and you're there, and I'm glad to be with you.
Tell us about the New Hampshire primary. What are your thoughts as you sit and watch this from your desk at the Russell Building?
Well, my thoughts are that what they were when we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, when I said the one thing that will happen for sure is things will happen that nobody is expecting that will change the dynamic in this race between the day before the Iowa caucuses and the day after the North Carolina primary. I don't know what that is. I do think there are more tickets forward than there normally are because, frankly, there are a lot of really good candidates on my side, and many of the candidates who aren't polling well at all in what would be a more normal presidential year would be one of the one or two top contenders.
So I know you haven't, or that I know of, thrown your considerable political heft behind any one of these candidates, but I mean, you have to be leaning towards one, two, or three of them, don't you?
No, I don't have to be, and
Okay.
and I have not. I have not endorsed one of these candidates, and I'm going to be for whoever wins this primary. My view is that what normally happens in a primary is that the best candidate is almost of the people who are willing to run is almost always the person who winds up figuring out how to be the nominee. And we'll see who that is. But I think more importantly, there are just real choices to be made in the country right now, and I'm pretty optimistic about the job opportunities and the opportunities for people if we just make two or three smart decisions as opposed to continue to make dumb decisions that really hold us back. Things like the Keystone Pipeline, much more indicative of the overall problem than it is significant as a one specific issue. But there was no reason for us not to do that. There's no reason for us not to figure out how to have a major benefit from more American energy than figuring out how not to use the resources that are available to us in significant ways. No reason we shouldn't be moving forward dramatically with new opportunities in healthcare, new opportunities in food, new opportunities in transportation, all of which just happen to be very good for where you and I live, and the spot where you're sitting there is sort of right in the center of all kinds of opportunities for the future if we'll do some smart things, and hopefully the next president will help us do that.
One more politics question, Senator Blunt, and that is some people in the party, within the party, some talking heads who are much more credible than I am, say that there's a real possibility that it might be a brokered Republican convention. What are your thoughts on that, and are you hearing something similar?
Well, my thought is there aren't any brokers anymore. There really aren't. The idea that people somehow have enough control of state delegations or parties to broker a convention, I think is not really possible any longer. I suppose it's possible, but I think very remotely possible that there's a convention on either side, particularly on my side, the Republican side, that goes more than one ballot. I would still expect one of these candidates to figure this out sometime in the next month in a way that assures that they'll be the nominee.
All right, let's talk about the North Korea missile story. We just heard again that they detonated some other missile. What are your thoughts as you watch that?
Well, I think the North Koreans are very unstable. They've got a totally failed system, and failed system creates a dangerous environment. When you can't feed your country, when there aren't jobs for people, you have to maintain control by keeping people thinking about something else, like somehow North Korea is the focal point of enemies all over the world. Frankly, if North Korea didn't have a nuclear weapon, there'd be no interest in North Korea at all except to try to get it back in the family of nations that create opportunity. You know, if you fly, I saw this aerial photo one time of the world, and you look at North Korea and South Korea, that peninsula. South Korea, it's a nighttime picture. South Korea is all lit up. In all of North Korea, there's one little light that must be the capital. And you have two people that until 1950 led the same lives, had the same history, had the same culture. One of them is one of the most vibrant economies in the world, one half of that. The other can't feed themselves and has to draw attention to themselves by doing unstable and dangerous things. And by the way, we're seeing some of the same kind of thing happen in Russia. The Russian economy is collapsing. It's built on despotism, and so this is the time when Putin is likely to be the most dangerous as well. So we've got to keep an eye on people from failing systems, because those people are most likely to do the most dangerous things to try to stay in power.
Senator Blunt, we'll leave it there. We'll let you get back to work. Thank you for checking in.
See you soon.
All right, Senator Roy Blunt from his desk in the Russell Building in Washington, D.C. There you go. 724.